Ezra Klein. Yes, you, Ezra, of the New York Times. This is all your fault. It's all your fault. Your fault. Earlier this year on your podcast, you were talking about the collapse of journalism globally and how, as the middle of the market newsrooms shed journalists and often shut down, the solution is for us to turn to micro-publishing as a way to get news stories out into the public space. Substack, Patreon, which is great if you're an unemployed journalist in the States, maybe. Nevertheless, I thought I would give it a go, and my most recent book was an exercise in micro-publishing. Either the book is crap, I don't think it is, or the South African market isn't ready for something quite so novel, or maybe I haven't cracked the social media algorithm and I can't get eyes on the page. Either way, I went broke. And the only way to claw my way out of the financial hole was to sell my home, put all of my stuff into storage, and move into a little plumber's van. And I cannot thank you enough. Story Ark is a year-long journalistic project where I'll travel around South Africa in search of remote and often invisible places to find the untold stories of how the climate crisis is unfolding on our doorstep in our lifetime. If this were a stand-up routine, I'd start it by saying that 2019 was the year that shocked my hair curly. And my hair did go curly in 2019, in the way that Hemingway says we go broke. Slowly at first, and then suddenly. Hemingway was an ass, by the way. He wrote Mills and Boon for blokes. I think he took a little bit too much of his own advice about writing drunk and editing sober. He couldn't even string a long sentence together. Just little itty-bitty little sentences. Shame. Mouse. Sorry, scratching. 2019 was the year that the climate truth bomb hit for me. That was the year that I realized that over half of the carbon pollution that's been pumped into the atmosphere and is causing climate collapse has been put up there in the time that I've been alive. And that I've spent 20 years writing about this in the hope that these words will be a small part in this effort to shift the public discourse. And at the same time, the UN's climate scientists come out with their report where they say we absolutely have to stop Earth's average temperature from climbing above 1.5 degrees, and that if we want to try and do that, we have to level off our emissions in just 10 years before rapidly reducing them. That's 1 decade, 10 birthdays, 130 full moons. That just broke my brain. And I responded by throwing myself into a fever of writing. I think it was the only way I could gain a sense of control within the existential crisis of realizing that an entire career has been of no use at all. But at the same time, we have the post-COVID economic collapse and journalism collapses. And on the one hand, I was getting published in one of the most prestigious titles in the industry and winning awards and even international awards for my writing. But I can't even give my articles away because no one's got cash to pay for them. So a lot of the writing ends up being self-funded. And I just churn out the words. No one's reading them, no one's paying for them, and I'm slowly going broke. And eventually, the only way I could get myself out of the financial hole was to literally cash in on City Line. Thank you, Mouse. Retire from business as usual. I thought, let me hit the road. And that's how Story Ark came to be. I had to go broke first.
Now a C, then an A minor.
The good ship Story Ark set sail on the 6th of October. And since then, we've travelled nearly 3,000 kilometres. In that time, I've been lost in a nature reserve once, marooned in sand dunes twice, and had to rely on the kindness of strangers on more occasions than I can count. It hasn't been easy. But I think that the best stories come from when we are well outside of our comfort zone. If you only had one more year to be effective in this time of planetary crisis, how would you spend it? This may not be everyone's first choice, but I feel as though I was born for it.
Hold me, touch my soul, release me, capture me in light, warmth embrace me, draped in case, release me, safely in your light. This thread binds me to you, binds me to you.